Stand tall, not because you are better than others, but because you respect yourself. The Stoics taught a simple truth: your value is not given by others. It is guarded by you. Here are 12 lessons to remember, so you never lower yourself for anyone. Your character is the only thing that truly belongs to you. Everything else can be taken away without warning. Money can be lost. Status can disappear. People can turn away. Even the body grows weak with time. But character stays as long as you protect it. That is why the Stoic guards it above all else. A person without character is poor even if surrounded by riches. A person with character is strong even when standing alone. Character is shown in small choices, not loud moments. It is revealed when no one is watching. How you speak when angry, how you act when disappointed, how you treat those who cannot benefit you. These moments shape who you are. They cannot be hidden for long. A person may pretend for a while, but truth always rises. The Stoic understands this and lives carefully, not for image, but for inner order. To guard your character, you must know your values. Without clear values, you drift. You bend to pressure. You become whatever the moment demands. This is how people lower themselves without noticing. One small compromise becomes another, until they no longer recognize who they are. The Stoic chooses his values early and returns to them often. Honesty, self-control, fairness, courage. These are not ideas to talk about, but rules to live by. Many people trade character for comfort. They stay silent to avoid conflict. They agree to things that feel wrong. They laugh at jokes that cross their line. They accept disrespect to stay included. Each time they do this, something inside them weakens. The Stoic accepts discomfort instead. He understands that short-term pain is better than long-term shame. He would rather be uneasy than false. Guarding your character also means mastering your reactions. Anger, fear, desire, and pride all try to take control. When they do, character slips. Words are spoken that cannot be taken back. Actions are done that bring regret. The Stoic pauses. He creates space between feeling and action. In that space, character lives. He does not deny emotion, but he refuses to be ruled by it. Others may test your character on purpose. Some push boundaries, some provoke, some reward bad behavior and punish good behavior. The world does not always favor virtue. The Stoic accepts this truth without bitterness. He does not change himself to fit corruption. He understands that doing the right thing may cost him opportunities or approval. He pays the price calmly, knowing the cost of losing character is far greater. Guarding character does not mean seeking perfection. Mistakes will happen. The Stoic is not harsh with himself, but he is honest. When he fails, he admits it, he corrects it, he learns. Excuses weaken character. Responsibility strengthens it. Growth comes from clear self-examination, not self-hatred. Respect from others begins with self-respect. When you guard your character, people feel it. Some will admire it. Some will resent it. Both reactions are outside your control. What matters is that you do not betray yourself to gain approval. Approval gained by self-betrayal is fragile and temporary. It disappears the moment you stop performing. The Stoic does not measure success by applause. He measures it by alignment. Did I act according to my values today? Did I speak truthfully? Did I keep my self-control? Did I treat others fairly without lowering myself? These questions matter more than praise or criticism. When everything feels uncertain, character becomes an anchor. It gives stability when the world shifts. It provides peace when outcomes are unclear. A person who guards his character sleeps without fear of himself. He does not replay his actions with shame. His mind is lighter because it is not divided. Guard your character not because others are watching, but because you are. You live with yourself every day. You cannot escape your own thoughts. A clean conscience is a quiet strength. It allows you to stand firm without arrogance and humble without weakness. You can spend your entire life trying to control other people and fail every day. You can argue, explain, demand, or beg and still nothing changes. The Stoic understands this early. Other people's thoughts, choices, and actions are not yours to command. The moment you accept this, you regain strength. Energy that was wasted on frustration returns to you. Control begins and ends with the self. Your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your effort. These are the only things fully within your reach. Everything else exists outside your authority. When you try to control what is not yours, you create tension and anger. When you focus on what is yours, calm follows. This is not giving up, it is choosing the correct battlefield. Many people believe control means power over others. The Stoic knows real power is self-mastery. Anyone can shout, anyone can blame, anyone can react. Very few can remain calm when provoked. Very few can act with reason when emotions rise. Self-control is rare, and because it is rare, it is valuable. A person who governs himself cannot be easily manipulated. When you allow others to control your emotions, you become their servant. One insult ruins your day. One opinion shakes your confidence. One rejection makes you doubt your worth. The Stoic refuses this slavery. He decides that his inner state will not be handed over so easily. He listens, observes, and chooses his response carefully. Control over yourself also means responsibility. You cannot blame others for your reactions. If you become angry, it is because you allowed anger to take hold. If you lose discipline, it is because you loosen your standards. This truth is uncomfortable, but it is freeing. Once responsibility is accepted, change becomes possible. The Stoic does not try to change people to fit his expectations. Expectations create disappointment. People act according to their nature, their fears, their limits. Understanding this removes resentment. You stop taking behavior personally. You stop feeling attacked by what was never about you. Clarity replaces confusion. Control of the self requires awareness. You must notice your thoughts as they form. You must catch false judgments before they grow. Not every thought deserves belief. Not every feeling deserves action. The Stoic trains his mind to question itself. Is this useful? Is this true? Is this within my control? This inner dialogue shapes discipline. Self-control also means choosing long-term good over short-term comfort. It is easy to react. It is easy to escape discomfort. It is easy to follow impulse. It is harder to pause, endure, and act with intention. The Stoic chooses the harder path because it leads to freedom. A person ruled by impulse is never free. Others may try to provoke you to gain control. They raise their voice, test your patience, cross your boundaries. If you react without thought, they succeed. The Stoic sees provocation as a test, not a threat. Each moment of restraint strengthens his command over himself. Calm becomes a habit. Control does not mean suppressing emotion. It means understanding it without letting it lead. Fear can inform caution. Anger can signal injustice. Desire can reveal goals. But none of these should be in charge. Reason must remain the guide. When reason leads, actions become steady and measured. When you control yourself, you become reliable. Your word has weight. Your actions are consistent. People may not always agree with you, but they know where you stand. Stability earns quiet respect. Chaos earns attention, but attention fades quickly. Life becomes simpler when you stop trying to control what cannot be controlled. You stop fighting reality. You adjust to it. You act where action is possible and accept where it is not. This balance creates inner peace that does not depend on circumstances. A person who controls himself carries order within. Even in noise, his mind remains clear. Even in pressure, his actions remain deliberate. He is not pushed or pulled by every force around him. He moves by choice, not by reaction. Begging places your worth in someone else's hands. The Stoic understands that the moment you beg for attention or respect, you give away your inner balance. Silence, when chosen with reason, keeps your dignity intact. It is not empty or weak, it is controlled. It shows that you do not need to convince others of your value. Attention that must be chased is never stable. Today it is given, tomorrow it is withdrawn. When you beg for it, you become dependent on moods and opinions you cannot control. This creates anxiety and self-doubt. The Stoic avoids this trap by standing still within himself. He allows others to come or go without chasing them. Silence is a form of strength because it requires restraint. Speaking is easy. Defending yourself at every moment feels natural. But not every situation deserves your words. The Stoic chooses when to speak and when to remain quiet. He does not explain himself to those who have already decided not to understand. Begging often comes from fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of being misunderstood. The Stoic faces these fears directly. He accepts that solitude is not a punishment. Being misunderstood is not fatal. Being ignored does not reduce one's value. Once these fears lose power, the need to beg disappears. Respect cannot be forced. The more you demand it, the less it is given. Respect grows from consistency, boundaries, and self-control. When someone sees that you do not chase approval, they sense inner stability. Some will admire it, others will feel uncomfortable around it. Both reactions are out of your control. Silence protects you from lowering yourself in moments of emotion. When anger rises, words can become weapons that turn against you. When sadness takes over, words can reveal weakness to those who will use it. The Stoic waits. He lets emotions pass before deciding whether speech is necessary. Often, silence proves to be the wiser choice. Begging for attention also weakens relationships. It creates imbalance. One side reaches, the other withdraws. The Stoic seeks balance instead. He offers presence, not pursuit. If effort is not returned, he accepts the message without resentment. He does not chase what moves away. Silence allows observation. When you stop begging, you start seeing clearly. You notice who values you without pressure. You notice who only stays when you perform or please them. This clarity is painful at first, but it is honest. The Stoic prefers truth over comfort. There is dignity in knowing when to stop, knowing when words will not change a mind, knowing when effort is wasted. The Stoic does not cling, he releases calmly. Letting go is not failure, it is self-respect in action. Many confuse silence with weakness because they fear being quiet themselves. They fill space with noise to hide insecurity. The Stoic does the opposite. He is comfortable with stillness. He does not rush to fill silence with explanations or apologies that are not needed. Begging also teaches others how to treat you. When you beg, you show that your boundaries can be crossed. When you remain silent and step back, you show that access to you is earned, not demanded. This shift changes how people respond. Silence does not mean avoiding all communication. It means choosing communication carefully. When words are used, they carry weight. They are calm, measured, and deliberate. The Stoic speaks to express truth, not to gain approval. Inner peace grows when you stop seeking validation. Your thoughts become clearer. Your actions become steadier. You stop adjusting yourself to fit changing expectations. Silence gives space for self-trust to grow. When you do not beg, you stand equal with others. You are not beneath them, reaching upward. You are grounded. From this place, relationships are chosen, not chased. Respect flows naturally when desperation is removed. Silence keeps your center intact. It prevents you from saying things that betray your values. It allows you to leave situations with your dignity untouched. The Stoic values this inner order more than momentary attention or temporary reassurance. Walking away is an act of self-respect, not defeat. The Stoic understands that staying where dignity is damaged costs more than leaving ever will. When respect disappears, no amount of effort, explanation, or patience can restore balance. Remaining in such a place slowly teaches you to accept less than you deserve. Disrespect often begins quietly. A dismissive tone, a broken promise, a boundary crossed and ignored. Many tolerate these signs, hoping things will improve. The Stoic does not ignore patterns. He observes without denial. He understands that what is allowed once will return again, stronger each time. To walk away requires clarity. You must first accept that not all situations can be fixed. Some people do not seek understanding. Some environments reward disrespect. Fighting these realities drains energy and clouds judgment. The Stoic chooses clarity over hope built on illusion. Walking away is not done in anger. Anger still ties you to the situation. The Stoic leaves calmly, without insults or dramatic exits. Calm departure sends a clear message, not to others, but to the self. It confirms that dignity is not negotiable. Many fear walking away because they fear loss. Loss of connection, loss of comfort, loss of identity tied to a role or relationship. The Stoic accepts loss as part of life. He knows that clinging to what harms him creates a deeper loss, the loss of self-respect. When dignity is threatened, staying teaches the mind dangerous lessons. It teaches that endurance means tolerance of disrespect. It teaches that peace must be earned through silence and submission. These lessons weaken the spirit. The Stoic unlearns them by choosing distance instead. Walking away also protects your inner state. Disrespect invites resentment. Resentment poisons thought. It turns small moments into sources of irritation. Over time, it hardens the heart. The Stoic leaves before bitterness becomes a habit. Some will misunderstand your departure. They may call it pride or weakness. They may question your motives. The Stoic does not defend his choice. Explanation is not required when clarity is present. He knows that those who benefit from your silence will not understand your boundaries. Walking away creates space for self-reflection. Distance brings perspective. You begin to see how much energy was spent enduring what should never have been accepted. This awareness strengthens future judgment. The Stoic learns without dwelling in regret. There is discipline in knowing your limits. Endurance is a virtue, but only when applied to what is worthy. Enduring disrespect is not strength. It is neglect of the self. The Stoic distinguishes between hardship that builds character and conditions that erode it. Walking away does not mean closing the heart. It means closing access. The Stoic remains fair, not bitter. He does not carry the past forward as a weapon. He simply refuses to continue in places that demand self-betrayal. Dignity is fragile when ignored but powerful when protected. Each time you walk away from disrespect, you reinforce your values. The mind remembers that it can choose peace over chaos. This memory becomes confidence. Those who respect themselves set a standard without words. Others feel it. Some will rise to meet it. Others will remove themselves. Both outcomes serve the Stoic well. He does not chase harmony at the cost of self-respect. Walking away also teaches patience. It reminds you that better situations exist beyond immediate discomfort. The Stoic trusts time more than impulse. He understands that temporary loneliness is lighter than constant disrespect. When you stay where dignity is threatened, you teach yourself to endure what should be refused. When you walk away, you teach yourself that your inner order matters. This lesson shapes every future decision. The Stoic chooses environments that allow calm, fairness, and mutual respect. When those conditions disappear, he does not argue with reality. He adjusts his position. He steps back, preserving what matters most. Walking away is not about punishment or proving a point. It is about alignment. It restores balance between values and actions. The Stoic leaves not to escape, but to remain whole. Praise and insult are tests of the same weakness. Both attempt to move you away from your center. Praise tries to lift you above yourself. Insult tries to push you below yourself. The Stoic treats both with equal distance because neither defines reality. Praise feels good, but it is dangerous when believed too deeply. It can make you careless. It can make you dependent. When you begin to act for praise, you stop acting from principle. Your behavior changes to match what others reward. The Stoic notices this pull and resists it. He accepts praise politely, but he does not drink from it. Insults feel painful, but they only hurt when accepted as truth. Words spoken by others carry no power unless you give it to them. The Stoic examines an insult calmly. If it is false, it is ignored. If it contains truth, it is used as information, not as a wound. Emotion is removed from the process. Both praise and insult come from outside. They are opinions shaped by mood, bias, and limited understanding. The Stoic does not build his self-worth on unstable ground. He knows that the same crowd that applauds today may criticize tomorrow. Depending on them creates emotional instability. Staying calm in both situations requires self-knowledge. When you know who you are and what you stand for, outside voices lose volume. The Stoic measures himself by his values, not by reactions. He asks whether his actions were fair, disciplined, and honest. External judgment becomes secondary. Praise can tempt you to exaggerate your strengths and ignore your weaknesses. It can slow growth by creating comfort. The Stoic remains a student even when praised. He remembers that improvement never ends. He listens without believing he has arrived. Insults often aim to provoke reaction. A sharp response feeds the one who insults. Silence or calm response removes their reward. The Stoic understands that reacting emotionally gives control away. Remaining steady keeps power where it belongs. The ability to remain calm is practiced daily. Small moments train the mind. A comment ignored, a compliment accepted without pride, a criticism considered without anger. These moments build inner discipline. Over time, emotional swings become less extreme. Some praise is given to manipulate. Some insults are used to control. The Stoic stays alert to these tactics. He does not allow flattery to lower his guard. He does not allow mockery to shake his resolve. Awareness protects balance. Calmness does not mean indifference. The Stoic still cares about doing well. He simply does not confuse results with identity. Success does not make him superior. Failure does not make him inferior. Both are events, not definitions. When praise inflates the ego, it creates distance between you and others. When insults crush the ego, they create resentment. The Stoic avoids both outcomes by keeping the ego in check. Humility and confidence exist together. Remaining calm also protects decision-making. Emotional reactions distort judgment. Praise may push you to take risks for attention. Insults may push you to act defensively. The Stoic pauses before acting. He chooses reason over impulse. Others may be confused by this steadiness. They expect reaction. They expect emotion. Calmness disrupts these expectations. It shows inner strength without display. The Stoic does not explain this strength. He lives it. Calm acceptance of praise keeps you grounded. Calm acceptance of insult keeps you free. Freedom comes from not being controlled by external voices. This freedom allows focus on what truly matters. When you treat praise and insult the same, you remain centered. You are not lifted or lowered by words. Your value stays constant. This stability creates peace that does not depend on approval or rejection. The Stoic understands that noise surrounds every life. Opinions rise and fall. Voices come and go. Calmness filters the noise. It allows you to hear your own judgment clearly. By staying calm in both praise and insult, you protect your inner order. You remain aligned with your principles. You move forward without arrogance and without shame. Saying no is one of the most difficult acts of self-respect, yet it is also one of the most necessary. Many people avoid it because they fear rejection, conflict, or disappointment. They feel obligated to say yes, even when it harms their time, energy, or peace of mind. The Stoic knows that every time you say yes when you should say no, you weaken yourself. Boundaries are not punishments for others, they are shields for the self. The fear of saying no comes from attachment to approval. People want to be liked. They want to be needed. They want to feel indispensable. But when yes is automatic, approval becomes a trap. You begin to act for others instead of according to your own reason. Each concession chips away at integrity. The Stoic sees this and understands that saying no is a form of strength, not selfishness. Saying no requires clarity of priorities. If you do not know what matters most to you, every request feels equally important. You will say yes to everything, scattered in effort and drained in energy. The Stoic identifies what is within his control, what aligns with his values, and what moves him toward virtue. Everything else becomes a candidate for refusal. A clear no also teaches others how to treat you. If you say yes to everything, people assume your boundaries are flexible. If you say no when necessary, you communicate that your limits exist and must be respected. This is not a threat, it is honesty. Over time, those around you learn that your consent is deliberate, not automatic, and they begin to value it. Saying no can be uncomfortable. Some will feel offended. Some will question your motives. Some will attempt to guilt you into compliance. The Stoic accepts this as part of life. Others' discomfort does not determine your duty to yourself. Feeling uneasy is temporary. Compromising your principles is permanent. No is also a teacher of discipline. It trains you to pause, to consider, and to decide deliberately. Impulse and habit often push us to agree, even when it is unwise. Saying no slows that process. It reminds you that every action has cost and consequence. The Stoic exercises this pause until it becomes instinct, choosing the path aligned with reason rather than habit. Refusing requests that violate your principles preserves energy for what truly matters. Life is finite. Every moment spent on the trivial is a moment lost from the meaningful. The Stoic prioritizes wisely, understanding that saying yes to the wrong things is the same as saying no to what is right. Saying no does not mean refusing all help or opportunity. It does not mean isolation or harshness. The Stoic balances firmness with fairness. He says yes when it aligns with virtue, with growth, and with reason. He says no when it compromises integrity, drains peace, or distracts from purpose. Each no is deliberate, each yes is chosen. Many fear that saying no will make them seem unkind or uncooperative. The Stoic understands that true kindness respects both others and oneself. Giving everything away to please others eventually leaves nothing for oneself. A measured no ensures that you can offer genuine support, not hollow or resentful assistance. The ability to say no grows stronger with practice. Each time you exercise it, you reinforce your boundaries. Each refusal strengthens your inner authority. Over time, you become less swayed by social pressure, more guided by reason, and more capable of maintaining peace. Saying no is also a defense against manipulation. Some will test your limits with repeated requests, flattery, or guilt. The Stoic recognizes these tactics and does not yield to them. He understands that concession in such moments is submission, not generosity. By mastering the art of no, you protect your time, your energy, and your mind. You preserve focus on what truly matters. You teach yourself that you are the guardian of your own life, not a servant to every demand. Saying no is not a refusal of connection, but an affirmation of self, a deliberate choice to act with reason, purpose, and integrity. The practice of saying no strengthens character, reinforces discipline, and cultivates respect, from oneself and from others. It is a cornerstone of inner freedom, showing that external pressures cannot dictate your decisions, and that your life remains guided by choice rather than circumstance. Choosing dignity over victory is a lesson few truly understand. Many rush to win arguments, to prove themselves right, or to dominate a conversation, believing that triumph defines strength. The Stoic sees victory differently. True strength is not measured by defeating others, but by maintaining self-respect and acting with principle. When faced with conflict, the desire to win can tempt you to lower yourself, to speak harshly, to manipulate, or to compromise values. Dignity requires resisting this temptation. Victory often comes at a cost. To win an argument, you may twist facts, exaggerate points, or attack character. To gain approval or status, you may flatter, conform, or deceive. The Stoic recognizes that these wins are temporary. They leave a residue of shame, regret, or imbalance. The peace of conscience is sacrificed for fleeting applause. Dignity, by contrast, is permanent. It cannot be taken, only surrendered voluntarily. Choosing dignity also requires patience. Immediate satisfaction tempts many to act impulsively. A sharp retort, a clever insult, or an aggressive response may secure a momentary triumph, but it erodes the self. The Stoic pauses, considers the long-term consequences, and asks whether the action aligns with principle. Often, restraint is the wisest path. A calm mind preserves more than a quick victory ever could. Sometimes choosing dignity means yielding in the short term. It may appear as weakness to outsiders. Others may celebrate superficial victory while you remain silent. The Stoic does not compete for appearance. He values alignment with reason over applause. Yielding in appearance is not surrender, it is control over the impulses that drive rash action. Dignity requires self-control. Emotions like anger, pride, and fear often fuel the desire to win. To choose dignity, you must recognize these emotions, understand their source, and prevent them from dictating behavior. The Stoic acts from reason, not from reaction. He does not allow the heat of the moment to override his principles. Each controlled response reinforces character and preserves inner harmony. Choosing dignity also shapes relationships. When you insist on being right at all costs, respect erodes, arguments escalate, trust diminishes. By prioritizing dignity, you create space for dialogue, understanding, and mutual respect. People notice steadiness and integrity. Some may disagree, but few can undermine the calm authority of one who acts with measured intention. Victory can deceive. It is often confused with respect, admiration, or authority. People celebrate winners, yet the internal cost is hidden. The Stoic measures success not by applause or recognition, but by adherence to virtue. Each decision is weighed against what is just, honest, and rational. External outcomes are secondary to internal alignment. Choosing dignity over victory also prevents regret. Impulsive wins may humiliate others or escalate conflicts unnecessarily. Later, you may recall the words or actions with shame, realizing that the momentary triumph was not worth the loss of composure. The Stoic's actions, rooted in principle, leave no such burden. It requires courage to prioritize dignity. The world values loud victories, flashy displays, and quick conquests. Standing firm, maintaining composure, and refusing to compromise values may make you seem passive or hesitant. Yet courage is not in the applause. It is in holding fast to what is right despite pressure, expectation, or temptation. Choosing dignity teaches humility and perspective. You recognize that being right is not always the highest goal. Understanding, peace, and integrity outweigh the fleeting satisfaction of winning. The Stoic does not measure himself against others, but against his own principles. This perspective frees him from the trap of ego-driven conflict. When both options present themselves, quick victory or preserved dignity, the Stoic always weighs the long-term impact. Will this action align me with my values tomorrow? Will it leave me proud or ashamed in reflection? Dignity is the measure that lasts. Victory without it is an illusion that fades with time. Dignity also sets an example. Others learn by observing restraint, calmness, and principled behavior. Your actions show that self-respect is worth more than applause, that the mind's calm is stronger than fleeting triumph. Each choice to act with dignity reinforces the inner order, shaping a life that cannot be shaken by opinion, circumstance, or provocation. The pursuit of victory without dignity is a trap, while the practice of dignity over victory builds strength, clarity, and lasting respect. It is not weakness to forego triumph. It is mastery of self, a deliberate choice to prioritize what is eternal over what is temporary. Standing alone is one of the hardest trials of the human spirit, yet it is also one of the most necessary. Many people fear solitude because it exposes them to judgment, criticism, and uncertainty. They conform, compromise, and adjust themselves to fit in, often lowering their values to gain acceptance. The Stoic understands that standing alone is not a punishment, but a test of integrity. True strength is revealed not in crowds or applause, but in the quiet moments where you are left with yourself and your choices. To stand alone requires self-knowledge. You must understand who you are and what you value. Without this clarity, the world's opinions pull you in every direction. You begin to act for approval, not principle. You bend to the expectations of others, often sacrificing your peace and dignity. The Stoic defines his values clearly and aligns every action with them, so that even in isolation, he remains steady and upright. Fear of loneliness often drives people to compromise. They stay in relationships or situations that are harmful, because the thought of being alone is unbearable. The Stoic recognizes this fear but does not surrender to it. He accepts that external companionship is a choice, not a necessity. Being alone with oneself is not emptiness, it is freedom, a chance to cultivate strength, reflection, and clarity. Standing alone also tests courage. It exposes you to criticism, misunderstanding, and even hostility. Others may not approve of your decisions, may attempt to pressure you, or may withdraw support. The Stoic does not measure worth by external validation. Courage lies in holding to your principles despite discomfort, in walking a path aligned with reason rather than seeking temporary acceptance. To stand alone, you must also master self-sufficiency. Dependence on others for your happiness, security, or identity creates chains. The Stoic nurtures inner resources, calm, discipline, clarity, and reason, so that external absence does not create chaos. The mind becomes a fortress. Peace and stability are no longer gifts granted by others but possessions guarded by the self. Solitude sharpens perception. When you are not influenced by the constant approval or disapproval of others, your judgment becomes clearer. You see the world as it is, not as it is presented to please or manipulate you. Decisions become deliberate. Actions are chosen with intention. The Stoic values this clarity more than comfort, recognizing that truth often requires standing alone. Standing alone is also a lesson in discernment. Not everyone is worthy of your time, energy, or trust. Some seek your presence only for their gain or convenience. By walking your own path, you discover who truly respects you without conditions. Isolation filters the world, leaving only what aligns with integrity. This process strengthens judgment and ensures that your efforts are not wasted on those who would exploit weakness. Many fear judgment because it feels like rejection. Yet, the Stoic understands that being rejected by the unprincipled or shallow does not diminish your worth. True measure comes from self-alignment, not approval. When you stand alone, you confirm that your choices are not swayed by opinion, but guided by reason and virtue. Standing alone also requires patience. It is uncomfortable to resist the pull of the crowd or the expectation of conformity. Silence and stillness often accompany solitude, and the mind may ache for recognition. The Stoic endures this discomfort, understanding that the long-term strength gained from self-reliance outweighs temporary ease or approval. Solitude allows for reflection and growth. It provides the space to examine actions, correct errors, and strengthen judgment. Those who fear standing alone often avoid self-examination, relying on external voices to dictate value. The Stoic embraces the quiet as a teacher, finding insight and resilience in the absence of distraction. When you stand alone, you build confidence that does not depend on others. You become unshaken by opinion, untempted by flattery, and unmoved by criticism. Your steps are deliberate, your words measured, and your actions guided by principle. This independence becomes a source of peace that cannot be taken or borrowed. Those who walk alone often inspire others without speaking. Integrity, self-respect, and calm command attention naturally. The Stoic understands that influence does not require company, applause, or validation. It arises from consistency, courage, and clarity of purpose. Standing alone is not a rejection of connection, but a refusal to lower yourself for approval. It is the practice of self-respect, discipline, and clarity. The Stoic values alignment with principle above the comfort of agreement, and in that alignment, he finds freedom, strength, and true companionship with himself.